Good morning, dear class. It's about 7 a.m. Damp, dark morning here outside my window. I wanted to thank you so much for so many of you who sent in your midterms and sent in quizzes. It's really wonderful of you to keep abreast of our class in this way. I'm very grateful. And I come to you wanting to say a word or two about Sébastien Barry's novel, The Secret Scripture. And I arrive a little haunted this morning from the effects of a strange dream. It has nothing to do with Sébastien Barry, I don't think. I woke in the middle of the night and couldn't get back to sleep for no reason except that I'd probably done too much sleeping. I had 2 9-hour nights in a row. And I found myself thinking, among other things, about a novel called The Silence of the Sea, Le Silence de la Mer, written during the war by an anonymous French author who called himself Vercors, about a German officer who is billeted with a French family, and he and the young daughter of the family fall in love, but never utter a word to each other or confess their love for each other in any way whatsoever, because of the circumstances in which it would be impossible for love between a French girl and a German officer to show its face. So I fell asleep at last and had an extraordinary dream which featured a pair of beautiful pale lace-up boots being worn by me on a pair of slim, elegant feet, which are not my feet at all. My feet are neither slim nor elegant, nor have they ever been, but I looked lovely in these boots. And Lord knows what that had to do with the dream, but it dominated the dream, in which I was obsessed with persuading the British Broadcasting Company to let me write a play, to commission me to write a play about the poet John Keats. And when I woke up, I realized that I had, in fact, many years ago, written a play, actually 2 plays, curiously enough. One that was commissioned from me to base a play on Keats's poem St. Agnes Eve. And then I wrote it. I found a way of intertwining Keats's life with the poem, and I was very excited by the outcome of this play. And then when they read it, they said, no, this isn't what we wanted. We just wanted a play based on St. Agnes Eve, which I duly wrote and was very dull and simply consisted of the poem St. Agnes Eve, and which then won a prize as the best adaptation of something, even though all it was a poem by Keats with no ornamentation by me. But in the dream, I very urgently needed to write this play and to persuade these people that I was obsessed, and because of my obsession, I must be allowed to write this play, and they agreed. A very happy dream. So here I come before you, happily commissioned in my dreams, but still haunted by various things, including that strange novel and a passage from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, which has kept on going round and round in my head since I woke up, having been listening to the Ninth Symphony for much of yesterday. So clearing my head of all these intrusive things, I wanted to say that The Secret Scripture, I should alert you, I hope you've managed to make a start on it. It's a most beautiful first 80 pages covering Roseanne's, this old lady of 100 or more, who is telling the story, her relationship with her beloved father. And I wanted to say, do read on in the hope of more and stranger things. It has remarkable twist to develop in the course of the book. The lady, Roseanne herself, is Mrs. McNulty. She was married to Tom McNulty, one of three brothers three fictional brothers about whom Sebastian Barry has written novels, and I think plays as well. He's one of those strange birds, Barry, who is as comfortable with plays as he is with novels. That shouldn't be an unusual thing, but it is. Beckett, of course, was one such, and I strangely have been one such myself. But it is no guarantee that one will write as well in one form as another, or that one shouldn't have stuck to one particular form. But I haven't tried to go across the genres. I was able to make some money as a dramatist, and had I not, had I found another way to survive, which I didn't do until I was 50, when I came to you, as it were, as a professor, I might indeed have stayed with the novel. I know many playwrights who write a novel, and often successfully, but feel no great desire to do it again, perhaps because it's more laborious than writing a play. In a play, the characters will speak to you. In a novel, you have to wait and listen rather harder and longer. And that either appeals to you because, aside from the character speaking, you, the novelist, can do a great deal of speaking about sunsets and landscapes and views and expressions on people's faces, which may or may not be what you deeply want to do if you have hitherto been a dramatist. It was exactly what I wanted to do, and after that I felt how disappointing it was only to be a dramatist and not being able to describe the expression on people's faces. So, Sebastian Barry, the author of many wonderful plays, including The Steward of Christendom, his best known, which I saw on the stage in Dublin, and wonderful it was, and the author of many marvellous novels, as I was starting to mention, many of them about, or some of them at any rate, about the McNulty family, who a fictional family that Barry is able to make much use of. So in The Secret Scripture, as you'll see, you're introduced to memories of the most tormented time of modern Irish history, following the unsuccessful Easter Rising to try and take Ireland back from her British overlords. It was followed by a brutal civil war, didn't kill so many in numbers as the American Civil War, for instance, or indeed the British 4 centuries earlier, but still bitter and brutal as civil wars are, and with terrible effects that you see already in the first 80 pages of the book in Roseanne McNulty's reminiscences. So I think I find Sebastian Barry, who is greatly admired in Ireland, but not tremendously well known around the English-speaking world, I find him to be as fine a writer as ever lifted a pen, so to speak. He writes an exquisite beauty, beautifully judged prose, and with deeply insightful portrayal of characters and wonderful plotting, as you'll see this, some marvelous storytelling in this volume. So I hope you're happy to be out of the clutches of the modernists, the great modernists, Joyce and Beckett, who pursued the modernist program, really, of trying to reach those parts of the literary spectrum, or those parts of writing that would form part of the literary spectrum, which they were opening up to a greater breadth than it had seen before. Those parts that would evoke what ordinary storytelling, classic storytelling, cannot reach. the ambiguities, the confusions, the depth of resonance of language itself, as Beckett said of Joyce, that he was able to make individual words evoke more than anybody else in the history of writing, or to evoke, as Beckett does, the depth of confusion that haunts our minds in ways that are not useful for the classic storyteller. So modernism was to expand the horizons of what literature can bring us. And for some of us, we're very grateful for that, because we feel that classic storytelling, as delicious as it is, entertaining, satisfying as it is, nonetheless leaves out a lot of experience itself, which is much less coherent than the classic storyteller presents it as. So the experience for most of us is still vexing and demanding and difficult, because we don't need more than classic storytelling for the most part, apart from those strange creatures, including, I'm afraid, myself, who are excited to find the author seeking to reach beyond what conventional storytelling can discuss or convey. So out of their clutches we go, and back, as literature itself has gone backwards, in a sense, to the great storytelling of the 19th century and before, to which Sébastien Barry belongs in his glory. He is really a wonderful writer, and I hope you will go on to read The Whereabouts of Aeneas McNulty, another great novel of his, and become a Sébastien Barry fan. So I leave you to pursue it under your own steam. He doesn't need much in the way from me of explanation or ideas. He is a storyteller sufficient unto himself. The tale he tells of people and of Ireland is as profound as that country could wish, and as profound as any reader could wish. So enjoy, and above all, stay safe, please. I know that many of you, in going home, have run straight into the ordeals, the terrors, and the losses in some cases brought about by this plague. And I'm so very sorry that this has been your destiny, and the country's destiny, and the world's. I've been exceptionally lucky in that I'm here with my wife. We're well. We worry greatly about our elderly relatives and our children and our younger relatives, but so far we've been very fortunate, and I hope you will continue to be too. And please let me know what you are experiencing at home. It eases my heart to hear from you and to know what's going on, even if you've been having a very hard time of it, which I fully understand. Take care, and speak again soon. Bye now.